I'm joined this morning by attorney and the host of Today with Dr. Wendy on KCBQ Radio, Wendy Patrick, and Democratic strategist and former New York State Senator David Carlucci. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Good morning. So, Wendy, I'm going to start with you. Let's put your attorney hat on for just a moment and break down these charges for us. How much trouble is the former FBI director in here, actually?
Well, how much trouble he's in depends on the resolution of this case, and I guarantee you, what he doesn't want is a trial. He wants a dismissal. That's always the first order of business. But while we hear about these charges carrying a maximum of 5 years in prison, the reality is most people don't get the maximum, especially when you have somebody that is a first offender, somebody without a prior record. The one thing he won't have if he's convicted in terms of mitigation is any kind of expression of remorse, because if he's convicted, what you saw in the last bit of testimony that's been aired is him doubling down on the fact that he was telling the truth the last time he testified. Now, perjury is tough to prove. Let me just put my defense attorney hat on the other hand.
Yeah.
It's hard to prove because you have to prove somebody willfully lied. Somebody knew what they were saying was false and said it anyway. Now, as a practical matter, you prove that through extrinsic evidence, through text messages, phone calls, other people that may have heard them say something different. That's challenging, easier said than done, but I can't imagine he's looking forward to a trial. He probably wants these charges to go away.
Oh, I'm sure he does. David, now it's no surprise the mainstream media didn't waste any time in jumping all over this when the indictment was first announced. In fact, I guess my question to you, do you think that the left, that they've been handed their latest cause? It seems like to me they're pretty excited in claiming that President Trump is just targeting for political reasons.
Well, I don't think anybody is excited about this on the left. I think people, independents included, are just very concerned because what we've seen is that career prosecutors refused to bring charges, and what happened, it was political appointees that overrode that. So the biggest hit here is democracy. And I feel for the person that is at the center of this, because, yeah, it seems like a fishing expedition. Like Wendy said, they're looking for that smoking gun. It's yet to be found, and likely won't be found. And that's why you saw Comey come forward with that video to say, look, I'm standing up for democracy, for the future, and to make sure that these witch hunts don't continue. So it was pleasing to see that, to see his chin up attitude. But I think we're all concerned about this looking, whether it is or not, but it has the perspective of looking like this is political revenge. And that's a problem for all of us.
Well, you said the mainstream media is not excited. We got a video. I want to get your reaction to it, Dr. Wendy.
But the real point is a tried and true tactic of despots all over the country, all over the world, which is to just harass and intimidate their political opposition so that people decide to stay indoors. Protesters don't show up. Candidates don't run. That's how democracies die.
I think we all need to mark this day, September 25th. It's a major milestone on America's transition from a fully free to a less free country. But the president has here an agenda that is bigger than mere retribution, is reprehensible and un-American and contemptible and vile and undemocratic, and I'll fill in the words as that is.
This is a, very, very corrupt, corrosive act that the president is taking.
I mean, Dr. Wendy, everybody's laughing in studio here a little bit because, I mean, we all remember, I'm old enough to remember when they indicted the president of the United States. I don't remember quite this same reaction. Your thoughts?
My thoughts exactly. I think that's a great analogy. President Trump, how many times was he indicted, tried, and convicted during the time that Joe Biden was in office? Now, it's true, President Biden didn't go on air and gleefully gloat about the prosecutions or what he thought, although a couple times he came pretty close. But this is very, very different. So a grand jury is a group of citizens, not politicians. They don't take a leap of faith. They render an indictment based on evidence presented. True, it's one-sided evidence and that there's no cross-examination. There's just a prosecutor. It's also true they were up against a deadline because the statute of limitations runs next week. But it's not one of those things that you can basically say, oh, it's unheard of. The entire last 4 years, all President Trump was doing is working his way out from under civil and criminal indictment unsuccessfully.
No, and clearly the grand jury.
I think I've heard you say you didn't appreciate that and it was wrong. And if we believe that, then we should move forward because two wrongs doesn't make a right. Now, I don't agree with you that was all wrong. But if you believe that it was political witch hunt, then shouldn't we stop that? Shouldn't we try to reform the system and move forward?
Well, clearly the grand
This is a
jury
tit for
thought
tat.
there was enough to
Nobody
move forward.
thinks it's a political witch hunt.
Oh, I want to switch gears here because clearly
one
the
thinks
grand
that.
jury thought that it was worthy to at least move forward. But I do want to get your final thoughts here, maybe 30 seconds to you both. Wendy, we are less than 72 hours away from a possible government shutdown. Now, this all might be a moot point because the House GOP may not even come back to D.C. next week. How likely is the shutdown, in your opinion? And then 30 seconds to you, Wendy, and then 30 seconds to you on that same question, David.
I think it's more likely under the Trump administration than the Biden administration, merely because he's no stranger to shutdown. He knows it's not going to be forever. And the longest shutdown occurred during his first term. I think he's looking for maybe some government agencies to downsize anyway. So it may be more likely, but it might not have the impact a lot of people are worried about.
Makes sense. David, what are your thoughts? Final word.
Yeah, I think we've become so used to this, but it sounds the messaging from the president is a little bit different. He's saying that he would use this opportunity to not just furlough employees, but possibly let them go. And so what we see here is unfortunate that the Republicans are saying they're not even willing to negotiate. And that is problematic for all of us. So it looks like, in a way, that the president, the GOP, is looking forward to this shutdown. And I don't think that benefits any of us. Of course, essential services should run. But all those services that we depend on to support our first responders, to support those essential services, are now lagging. So that makes us all less secure, less safe. And that's a problem for all of us. So I hope we can avoid a shutdown. But it doesn't look like the president is willing to sit down with Democrats.
Well, the Democrats have said they want $1 billion to support illegals. I think
They
that's
haven't
the
even
wrong
negotiated.
position. But
President
certainly,
Trump
there we
canceled
go.
those meetings.
Appreciate you both. David, Wendy, thanks for joining us, guys.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Here.